This is the Mickey Miles and More podcast, your one-stop for information on Disney races, Disney vacations, Disney theme parks, and more. Now, here are your hosts for the Mickey Miles and More podcast, Michelle Scribner-McLean, Chris Eliopoulos, and Mike Scopa.
Welcome home, Milers, and welcome back to another episode of Mickey Miles and More, a podcast where three friends talk about the Disney parks, the Disney races, and whatever else comes up. I'm Chris Eliopoulos, and with me, as always, is the Doctor, Michelle Scribner-McLean. Hi, Michelle.
Hello, Chris. How are you today?
This
very fine day.
It seems like the last 4 weeks of recordings, our house is being renovated, the kitchen and all that stuff, and it has just been noise. I am so used to quiet, and having so much construction going on in my house is driving me insane.
Well, I was going to drive down there and celebrate Cinco de Mayo with you, but if that's the case, I'll wait till next
Maybe that's
year.
what I need to do. I need to start drinking. Maybe that'll help things.
Some margaritas for everybody,
Yeah.
the people with the power tools.
So,
Margarita.
well, celebrating with us is the Dean of Disney, Mr. Mike Scopa. Michael, how's the papyrus doing?
Greetings from the pyramid.
This is going to be this is like Bob Chapek is going to get his sound effect. You're going to get, every time we talk about anything, you're going to get a little papyrus.
Probably going to be the last connection I'll have with Kaching.
So, we actually named that character, right, in Spaceship Earth? The Egyptian guy, isn't he now?
What do you
being
mean?
called?
What do you mean we?
Pounding papyrus?
He's now called Papyrus.
Pappy Russ,
Yeah.
the old man of Spaceship
No
Earth.
privacy around this here pyramid.
Wow, that was bad. All right. So, Mike, there's some little tidbits of news lately. We thought maybe you would.
Yeah. We're finding out little things here and there. And one of the things that I just want to point out, and I'm sure that there are a lot of listeners who are aware of this, but if you're not, I think it's important for those who are planning to go down in another month or a couple of months to check that theme park availability calendar, because it's constantly changing. And I'll give you this exhibit. I'm looking at May. We are in May. We're recording on May 5th. And of the remaining days, only 4 of the remaining days in May have all the parks available. This Saturday, the 7th, there are no parks available. Today, there are no parks available. On Tuesday, the 9th, there are no parks available. So those who are planning should probably check to see if parks are available when they go down, and to double check. It's kind of I don't know, I don't want to say scary, but it's kind of bothersome to me. And the other thing that I want people to understand, for those who are about to renew their annual passes, or those who don't have to worry about buying tickets for their upcoming vacation because they have annual passes. This was not the case last year, I don't think, Michelle. But if you have an annual pass, Chris, and you may not know this, you can hold just 5 park reservations at any one time. And unless you are staying on at a resort hotel, then of course you can make your park reservations based on that status. But if you are an annual pass holder and you're staying off the property, you're limited to 5 days at a time. And my guess is that they figured that annual pass holders go for an average of 5 days. So that's just something. It's just a heads up on some stuff. And
Can I just interject before you go on to say that I renewed our annual passes.
You renewed what?
We renewed them, and
Oh, you renewed. Sorry.
renewed.
So you got nude again.
Yes.
Okay.
So it got on right at 9:00 when they opened. I called a Disney Vacation Club. Had to go through the 17 different menus. That took 2 minutes. And I got with a cast member, talking with a cast member at 9:02, and by 9:06 I was off the phone. So completely, all renewed. So
Well, it's interesting because they were so against the idea of annual passes. I let mine lapse, and I've gotten an email from them saying, you still have time to renew if you really want to. So pushing it, which I thought they wouldn't be. Like they'd be letting people go, but they were. I did get an email from them saying, but it feels like this new reservation system. It's almost going to be like dining reservations now. If you don't make it 180 days out or whatever the time is, you're going to lose the ability to go to certain parks, just like you'll lose the ability to get a dinner reservation.
It just makes it more. Thing is, Chris, it makes it more complicated when you're planning because of, especially if you want to meet up with people. Well, can you, let's make a park reservation for this day. Oh, should we do that first before we secure a dining reservation? Let's say you want to go to Via Napoli. Well, you're going to make sure that we're going to be in Epcot. I guess the afternoons don't make a difference. It's the morning. If you want to meet with someone in the morning, it's going to be an issue. But it's really...
Travel agent friends booked a trip recently and was telling me that they couldn't get the parks that they wanted on the park days, and they were outraged, as they should be. They're spending all this money.
And that's the question, right?
We can't go to Epcot. We can't go to Epcot. We're staying at your hotel, and we want to go to Epcot, but we can't. What do you mean?
Yeah. And then even like if they're booked in the morning, how do we know they're not going to be open at 2:00 and you can move over? And like you said, with dining reservations, you got to be sure that. I know we were doing it where you choose the park that you're going to have dinner in just in case. But I don't know. It sounds like it's going to be a little more complicated.
And here's the thing that I keep wondering, and I think I asked the question, I think I said it to Disney, and I still haven't gotten a really good answer. It seems like when you look at the park availability calendar, that information holds only for the hours between Rope Drop, our opening, and 2:00. It does not...
Rope Drop?
Rope Drop?
Oh,
boy. Oh, boy.
Rope drop. Oh, my God. Rope drop. And
we're going to need a dictionary soon.
Oh, my God.
Mike dictionary.
I'm just going to start signaling out these sound bites, and you keep using them. We're going to plug them into the...
I'll put it in my one-man show. So my point, again, is the theme park availability calendar, to me, represents only the hours from opening to 2:00. Never have I seen anything regarding what about capacity after 2. If the Magic Kingdom is filled to capacity on today from 8 to 2, won't it be filled from 2:00 to 2:15? But I can go in at 2:15. I just can't go in before 2:15 or before 2:00. So there's still a lot of questions, and I really think that we will see some type of an adjustment sometime in the fall. I think that the summer is going to show a lot of things that could possibly be an issue with guests screaming. So that's one thing I wanted to point out. There were a few other things that I was wondering about that I think I had mentioned in previous shows, and I did some research. And one of the things, Chris, you remember last summer and also in January when you went into Epcot, they had tons of green walls around the center of the park, specifically right beyond Spaceship Earth. And I wasn't sure if they were continuing with this, but they are continuing with the building of the Journey of Water, which is a tribute to Moana. It's going to be something very greenish. There's going to be a lot of plants and everything. So that's
like maybe park?
It's going to be. I think it's going to be something like a nice little walkthrough with water and fountains and everything. So that is continuing. That's one thing that I wasn't sure of. The other thing was that I kept on wondering if and when Fantasmic was coming back. I had heard that they were changing some of the things in Fantasmic, like Pocahontas is completely gone. So that I heard is going to be reopening in July. So Fantasmic will be back and running, which I think is a long time coming. And finally, I don't recall, but I thought we had mentioned the Magic Band Plus issue. So apparently, you've got new cast members and all kinds of stuff going on. And one hand, sometimes doesn't know what the other hand is doing. And someone put the Magic Bands on some shelves in some Disney stores.
Magic Band Plus.
Magic Band Plus, yeah. And they sold them. Then they had to take them off. And I don't know if they're putting it back on. But the problem is that they weren't supposed to go on the shelves until either late May or early June because they're not functional until June. The Magic Bands Plus are going to be selling for around $30. They will interact with those Fab 50th statues, the gold statues that are all around the resort. And one of the things you can do is if you stand in front of, let's say, the Mickey statue and you wave your hand and you wave at Mickey, he will talk to you, things like that. They are also supposed to glow during parades, certain things you do in Galaxy's Edge and in fireworks. But one of the things that I read, and I haven't seen a second or third validation of this, is that unlike the present Magic Bands, the Magic Band Plus can be recharged. And I don't know what that means. I saw that in one article, and I'm waiting to see what that's all about. But those are the 3 or 4 things I thought it was important to mention to our listeners.
So basically, we're going to move on as our Magic Squad, and we're going to move on to Hollywood Studios and then Animal Kingdom today. I do have to admit, I'm starting to run dry on ideas specific to parks other than the things we've discussed prior. So my list is a little bit short. So I'm going to leave it to the 2 masters here who have crammed for their test and done well. So Michelle, I'm going to start with you first and tell me some of your things to make it more magical. Okay, go.
This is low-hanging fruit. The first one. I bet both of you have this on your list. Bring back Streetmosphere. Boom. Show over.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, we've been talking about that with every park and every...
Yeah. No, but I think Streetmosphere is a very special thing unto itself at Hollywood Studios. And it needs to come back.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely made it unique. It's like it was a very unique thing because they were just fun, what is it, 1920s, 30s, 40s.
Yeah, Chris, I
kitschy.
think we should back up and just remind everybody what we're doing here, what the Magic Squad is, in case people.
Yeah, and I guess if this is your first time, basically what we're doing is everybody has been feeling that the magic has been lost at Disney with increasing prices, more reservations needed, Genie Plus not being what we'd hoped it would be, and so Disney has hired the 3 of us to become their new Magic Squad to run through and blue sky ideas to make things more magical for guests as they arrive at Walt Disney World. So we've gone through a general idea. We've gone through the Magic Kingdom. We've gone through Epcot. Today we're going to do Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom. Michelle had the first brilliant idea, which we, I think, have all agreed is a good one. And so, Mike, give us your first one.
When we think of a Disney theme park, we think of a lot of things. We think of characters. We think of music. We think of fireworks. But we also think of parades. And it's been, I believe, 14 years, maybe a little bit less, since we've had a real honest-to-goodness parade in Disney Hollywood Studios. I think the last official parade was Disney Stars and Motor Cars or something like that. So I think it would be...
And the cavalcades.
The cavalcades, I'm not
Right.
counting the cavalcades. We recognize Hollywood Studios as the home for Pixar. So why not put together a Pixar-themed daytime parade that goes through the streets of Hollywood Studios at 3 o'clock every day? I think that would be something that would add a little touch to what's missing. And we already had the Festival of Fantasy parade return to Magic Kingdom. We talked about maybe having a parade in Epcot. That would be nice, but I don't see why they can't have a parade in Hollywood Studios. That's my thing.
Michael is a broken record. He wants parades everywhere.
Yeah.
Parades and fireworks. One of the things that makes Hollywood Studios unique is the idea that it is based on movies and stars and that kind of thing. And I thought the idea of having them randomly choose a star of the day, guests as they're coming in, they choose a star of the day, family of the day that's the stars. They treat them like movie stars. They have photographers follow them around for a while. They get special treatment. Cast members, if they put a button on them, cast members will come running up, ask for autographs, kind of fun stuff like that. They get escorted to the front of lines, all that kind of fun stuff to make them feel like a star in Hollywood.
That's maybe a Streetmosphere. Streetmosphere people could greet people in the morning and then take that family.
Yeah, like a VIP.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah, just something fun. Again, it's one of those things where it singles out one family and makes everybody else jealous, but I think it's just a fun, unique thing. So, Michelle, what's your next one?
one is, I have a lot of Star Wars ones on here. My next one is, I would love to see a studios only 5K. And I think there's enough real estate to do it, especially if they maybe put cones down Sunset Boulevard or
Cone Alley.
Yeah, but to have it Star Wars themed would be really cool. But they could switch off and do a Toy Story one, or I think a 5K specific to the studios would be really fun. And I always enjoyed running through there for the marathon and for the Tower Terror 10K.
Do I remember they were going to do like a Toy Story themed race, or was that our hopeful thinking that they could do it at some point?
They did do a Toy Story 5K. I have
Did they?
some T-shirt and
Right.
But that wasn't through the studios.
I'm surprised
So-
they're not doing more. Maybe that's the other thing, is I don't see that many more themed races like that. I don't know why they gave up the Star Wars themed races. That was a big hit. I don't know why they're not choosing some of these IPs that they've got and make, like, what is the Secret Summer or whatever surprise summer race that they just did? It's like, why would you choose that over a Star Wars race? I don't know.
Right.
But,
With the number of people who like Star Wars.
but I like it. So, Mike, what's next on your list?
This is I'd like to recall something that I really enjoyed back in the 90s, and it was called Sorcery in the Sky. And it was a fireworks presentation that took place around just before closing at Hollywood Studios. Everybody was on Hollywood Boulevard and watching it, and it just was a very much of a movie themed fireworks nighttime spectacular. And I think that every once in a while it would be nice for them to roll back the calendar, the clock, or whatever, and do something like this. I do think that with the years that have passed, they could embellish the soundtrack. But I thought it was something that really, back in the 90s, really proved that you can coordinate music and pyro and fireworks together to make for a very enjoyable evening. So bring back Sorcery in the Sky.
It's parades and fireworks for Michael.
Parades and fireworks for Michael.
I did have nighttime events and stuff like that as well, but I'm going to consolidate a couple ideas into one, and basically it's a greeting event at the front of the park out in front. There's three ideas that you could alternate. One day you have Vader and stormtroopers at the front entrance to arrest a rebel spy, and they drag them right in and straight onto Rise of the Resistance. Maybe there's a cast member over there that breaks them free from the stormtroopers and brings them onto Rise of the Resistance. Or on another day, they have Rey and some Resistance fighters to save the Resistance spy and take them straight to Rise of the Resistance, and maybe they get some special treatment in the Star Wars land area. Or it would be fun to have the Toy Story characters in the front of the park to greet guests, and maybe wave a magic wand or something and make them a toy for the day and bring them over to the Toy Story land and bring them on the rides and stuff, and sort of act as a special treatment for some lucky family. So that's one. Michelle, what's next?
I like it. The next one actually has to do with Star Wars as well. And I would love to see some sort of an event called Star Wars at Night or something zazzier than that, where they let people stay in that area till like 3 o'clock in the morning. They have characters, they have, specialized Star Wars food on carts. They have, stormtroopers come through, and it's just, maybe closed off to the rest of the park, but people are doing this really cool event just in the Star Wars area, because I think it's one of the places that looks prettiest at night. And I think there's a lot of room for, there are enough attractions and a lot of room that they could admit several hundred people there. And can you imagine if your kid loves Star Wars and saying, we're going to go out past midnight and we're going to see Darth Vader? And I thought that would be fun.
I like it.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely think I have a bunch of ideas for nighttime events and stuff like that. But Mike, what's your next one?
So we have seen this game that they had in Magic Kingdom, where you hold up cards in front of a window and you interact with something that's in
Sorcerer,
the window. Sorcerer is a
Didn't they do a Pirates version too?
And there was the Pirates thing that was just in Adventureland. So, and we've seen this. I think Kim Possible was the one in.
Yeah,
in Epcot.
my kids love that one too.
why not do a Pixar themed one for Disney Hollywood Studios where you have guests? Mostly this would be something magical for children where you go around and you interact with certain objects that are in the park, and you're trying to solve a mystery or whatever. Call it the Pixar problem or whatever you want to call it. Something that would
Pixar Papyrus.
yeah, something that would really catch the imagination of the children. I want to mention one more thing. The last three things I've mentioned: Sorcery in the Sky, the parades, and this thing. This all contributes to lowering the waiting queues in the attractions.
True.
That's part of my deal here. That I'm trying to balance out what you can do besides adding the magic. You're also adding magic with shorter standby lines.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a benefit. Love it. My next one up is one that you made me think of. Since we're onto the Star Wars topic, there are these wonderful events where they do Star Wars in concert, and they have concert orchestras play the music and they run the film in the background. I would love to see them do some stuff like that at night. Just snippets from the Star Wars movies. They run in the background
on the Chinese theater, maybe.
Yeah, or
have the orchestra in front of the theater.
Anywhere. I mean, literally, like you're talking about the Star Wars events, they could set up, somewhere in Star Wars land, wherever they want to figure they can put an orchestra there and let people listen and watch the movie, and just as a benefit. It doesn't have to be every night, but it could be just something once in a while that people could.
I love that.
Special events. So.
And you know what would cap the night off in a perfect way? If they brought back the Star Wars fireworks.
That was great.
Amazing fireworks.
I love that one.
So that would be a nice end. So that was my next one.
Is that your next one?
That was my next one. Like how
bring it back?
Yeah, bring back those fireworks.
The light show is great too. I mean, the way they had the lasers going and
right, and at the end with the lightsaber, up going straight up in the sky. I thought that was awesome. And the dessert party that went with that was awesome too.
I mean, other than focusing sometimes more on the original trilogy, I like that idea. I wish they would do more of the original trilogy characters and stuff. But Mike, what else you got?
This is a small one. It's probably something that was, it's funny to say too expensive for Disney to do, but I think it's out of place to keep Star Tours where it is. I think they should have moved it to Galaxy's Edge. Sorry, Michelle. But that's the elephant in the room.
Yeah,
it really is.
That's my OCD. I always have to think about that every time we go in that attraction. Why is this here? It should not be here.
Yeah.
It should be moved. Make room for something else over there.
Yeah. I mean, technically, if they kind of wiped out Muppets or moved it or something, they could sort of connect it somehow. But yeah, it's kind of one of those weird. I'm trying to think if I should stay with Star Wars or should I move on to something different. But I'll stay with Star Wars and just say I think they should bring some more random Star Wars signings, meet and greets, like get some actors from the movies to just appear unannounced, have events where guests can meet. That's a big. I know they had Star Wars days and weekends.
Star Wars weekends, yeah.
But even just random stuff like I just think of like when Johnny Depp appeared in Pirates randomly. He would just show up there sometimes dressed as Jack Sparrow.
You wouldn't do that these days.
No, but the idea there of just not even dressed up as characters, but just sort of bring in some of the actors and people just to sort of make it a little magical. So, all right, Michelle, moving on.
So the next area that I think is really underutilized is the Star Wars Animation Court and what's the Disney Junior or whatever that other area there is.
Yeah.
I would love to see that wiped out and for them to create a theater or a dark ride or something else. I think people just wander over there for the bathroom and maybe they'll go see the movie that's been there for years and years and years. But I don't know. It just seems to me that we all watch movies on our devices, and for people to sit down in a theater might be a nice rest, but to watch a movie about making Star Wars that you could probably find somewhere else just doesn't seem to. I know they have character meet and greets there, but let's do something really cool with that. I don't know what, but I think that's underutilized space that could be capitalized upon.
Yeah. Mike, what other magic do you have in your bag?
If you walk down Sunset Boulevard, on the left-hand side, you've got the shops. On the right-hand side, you've got some shops, and then you have this sort of a food court area. I think that should be leveled, and I think they should redo it. They should have a better themed area there, maybe have an enclosed food court area. I just think it's not used correctly. I think that it lacks theming, and I think it lacks imagination. I would like to see that redone.
Yeah.
Maybe with Pixar theme again. I really have an issue when a Disney theme park strays away from the theming, and I think that kind of does that.
Yeah. So I was going to be more of a general thing, and it could be it for all the parks, but I was just thinking about this one in particular because of the movie idea with popcorn and stuff like that. I think they should actually have a magic squad in every park that can randomly go out and do amazing little specials. Like, you know, somebody's buying popcorn for their kids, and then they just come up and say, this one's on us, and the popcorn is free for those kids. You know, or beverages, or obviously not alcoholic beverages. They might hit themselves with a lawsuit, but
they couldn't be dressed up in any particular way because people would follow them.
Oh yeah, they would seek them out. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It sort of it would almost be like, you know, a hidden, you know, just like there's security guards who are dressed as tourists. You could have the magic squad
Really?
running around and you know, just providing these magic moments. Like I said, one of the most fun things, and it was so minuscule, but it made it magical for us. We were at Casey's one point, and we had ordered some food, and a cast member just came up and grabbed a couple of boxes of Cracker Jack and just gave it to us and said, enjoy. And it was like, oh, okay. And it was just like, and it was, we were talking about it for a while. We were like, that's so cool that they did that. I think we would like to see, when we're talking about bringing magical moments, a lot of times magical moments are just simple little $2 things that make your day. So anyway, Michelle, up to you.
My next three are, excuse me, all going to be upgrades. So I don't know how you guys will go for this one, but one of my favorite attractions throughout the parks is Rock and Roller Coaster. And I love Aerosmith. They're, you know, some of them are from Boston, big Boston band. I think it's time to upgrade that. So new songs, maybe a new band, like the Foo Fighters, or maybe they switch out and have different bands do the intro. They have different, you know, on a loop or something. But
make it more generic rock band as opposed to just Aerosmith. It could be,
yeah,
it could trade over time. Different
it could
bands.
be. I mean, I know Mike is not a big Foo Fighters fan, but it could be.
What's wrong with him?
The Rolling Stones. It could be a Beatles one. That would be really cool.
Beach Boys.
What? Or it could be a rap one. It could be a whole bunch of different things. But it would be nice if they either switched it out or
that'd be a fun overlay. Rap and roller coaster.
Yeah, Rap and Roller Coaster. Yeah, like they have at studios, they have that coaster that goes up 90 degrees. I forget what it's called, but you get to choose your song. Everybody has their own choice of what song they're going to hear. And I remember when I went on it, my son Evan was mortified that I picked the same Kanye West song that he picked. But it would be nice if they switched it out. Then you didn't know what you were going to get. Because when I go into that pre-room where they're doing, you know, make it happen. Let's get a limo. Let's get a stretch limo. Everybody is facing the door. Like nobody's watching
everybody's
that
like,
anymore.
let us on, let us on.
Can I get close to the door? So that would make it magical again.
Okay, what are the other upgrades? Do you want to just do all three upgrades right now?
Sure. This will be my last things. This may cause an argument, but I think maybe a loop that changes too, but I think the Muppets needs to be upgraded. I love the Muppets. I love that movie. I don't want to see it go forever, but I'd love to see them do something different with the Muppets. You know, maybe the pre-show's hilarious, but maybe another pre-show, or maybe 3 different pre-shows that you don't know which one you're going to get.
You ready for this idea? How about we turn it into a Muppet Star Wars overlay, and it could connect all of Star Wars land to
oh yeah, there we go. Now that's magic making. I love that. And the last upgrade I was thinking of is The Little Mermaid. I think that show, its time has come. Let's make it something related to Toy Story or Moana, or I don't know.
Encanto.
Yeah, and Kanto would be great.
Or all three. at
Or all
once.
three.
Yeah.
Maybe it rotates through, but I think I
Definitely.
was thinking of what I always go in the Muppets, but it's not like I get super excited about it. I'm more worried about who's coughing on me and who's talking behind me. But
As
yeah, as usual. But anyway, those are my 3 upgrades, and that is my
No.
list for studios.
I agree. Mike, what else? I'm sure you have 15 more.
5 or 6.
Okay.
Um,
Jeez. Okay.
So
Give
some
me
of
a
these
couple
are,
then.
some of these are related to, Michelle said, one of the things I wanted to see is that we've got Hollywood Boulevard, you've got Sunset Boulevard, you've got Toy Story Land, you've got Galaxy's Edge, you've got Animation Courtyard, and then you've got that area with the Muppets. Why not have a roving band that is themed after each of those areas and sing songs that are related to it? You could have someone singing old Hollywood songs on Hollywood Boulevard, Sunset Boulevard, maybe the same thing. Plenty of songs from Toy Story that you could sing. Maybe just playing some music in Galaxy's Edge. I just think, remember Mulch, Sweat and Cheers, whatever it was called. I really think that would be something that would add to the enjoyment, the spontaneous entertainment that we don't see as often as we used to see.
I think you're right. And I think that Disney has shown that they undervalue these street performers because I don't know how you could measure people's happiness with that, but a lot of people interacted with Streetmosphere, and a lot of people stand and watch the Jameters, or to have somebody singing or to have a band playing may not rotate thousands of people through every 5 minutes, but I think it's a nice respite for people where they feel like they can stop running from one thing to another and just catch their breath and say, oh, that's really cool. And that's the type of stuff that people talk about.
I think the overarching theme is we need more spontaneity in this ever increasingly, what is it, like planned vacations that you just can't even have any spontaneity. So actually, this is part of mine too. I said nighttime events, parties, and then bands playing. So you just sort of randomly have some bands. I mean, can you imagine just like, I just think of Epcot where you walk by, Canada and just catch a band playing, or you go down to Great Britain and you get a Beatles band playing. It was just fun to see.
They gotta switch them up
music.
though.
Yeah, they
Not
gotta
the
do
same
something.
band for 10 years.
True. Yeah, keep it going. So Mike, what else you got? I'm gonna let you go because I only have one really main one left, so go ahead.
Oh, I hope I don't take it away from you. I think that they do have Woody's Lunchbox in Toy Story Land, but I think a Toy Story themed sit-down restaurant in Toy Story Land would have been nice. Maybe it's on the book somewhere, but I really think they missed the boat there. Again, I think the Woody's Lunchbox is an outdoor kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I think that would be one. Do you want me to keep going, Chris?
Yeah, give me another one.
The Mickey and Minnie's Railway attraction is very nice, and I would like to see somewhere inside, when you go inside, halfway through the queue, there should be a meet and greet area, and one of the main characters in that attraction should be there for a photo shoot. Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Pluto, or Daisy.
Or the train.
On the train maybe, but I think that would be a nice little thing. It would help the wait, and it would be something that everyone's saying, gee, I wonder who's going to be there that we can take our picture with. So that would be, and of course have photo pass, that kind of stuff going on. So I think that would be nice. I also think that it's time that it's over. It's way over that they should have constantly had, besides having Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party in Magic Kingdom, why not have a Halloween party in the studios? I think they could do it there. Name it something different, but you've got Tower of Terror there. You've got all kinds of things you could do. I think that would be something really good. My last thing is involving the Muppets, and you guys talked about the Muppets. At one point, there was on the drawing board the Great Muppet Movie attraction, and what that was a series of scenes where you would go through and you would see a famous Muppet scene, and then the next room would show you behind the scenes how they did it. And it would sort of be like and some of the younger crowd will have to look this up, a Rube Goldberg kind of a thing. Like, how did they do this? How's the magic? So you'd have one scene, a famous scene, and then you'd go behind that. I think that there should be more Muppet-oriented stuff in that area. I really think that that's been lacking for a long time.
Yeah. Maybe move that Muppet thing over in Magic Kingdom. That America thing. Remember that whatever next to the Hall of Presidents?
Yeah.
Move that. Make it. They've got the Muppets, so they should be using them a little bit more. But my final one. One of the things I loved when I go to Disneyland is the ability that you can sit on a little porch on Main Street and play checkers or checkers, I think. And I love the idea of just having that ability. Like, you can just sit and relax. And I saw a I don't know if it was a tweet or Instagram or TikTok or something like that. This woman decided she was just going to go take a book and go to the parks and read in the parks. And she actually sat in the parks and read. And so I would love to see in Toy Story Land have random games break out with cast members, Lincoln Logs or little things in certain little areas where right. Well, Lincoln Logs they have inside of Toy Story, and it's part of some of the attractions. So I just thought it'd be fun. Yeah, Tinker Toys, all that kind of stuff. So I just thought it'd be fun to sort of add that to Toy Story Land. So, but I think that's going to do it for Hollywood Studios. How about we move on to the final of the 4 parks, the Animal Kingdom? I ran out of gas on this one. I think I have 3 that are just half thought out ideas. So, Michelle, hopefully you'll lead us to a greener pasture, as they say.
I'm going to, again, start with the low-hanging fruit. Fix the Yeti. Fix the Yeti. Please fix the Yeti.
It's going to have to involve engineering and re-securing the whole mountain.
Yep.
Or they're going to have to do something different with them. Take them out and do a different version of them.
They have to take them out. They have to cut open the building. They have to lift them out.
We're the Magic Squad. We're the idea.
We're the idea people. Let the engineers figure it out.
They have to do that at night when no one's
Look, they don't
watching.
have to pay that $1 billion bond back now, so they can use that money. Oh, boy.
All right. How many do you have, Mike? I mean, we should probably...
I have like 10.
Do you have 10?
I think so.
I was thinking we were going to, we didn't have much and we could just barrel. Do you want to hold off and do it on another show? Should we save this for another episode? Or you want to barrel through?
Well, we could save this for another show. We could do Animal Kingdom, maybe the resorts, and maybe Disney Springs, all in one show.
All right. I think that's a possibility.
So I gave you my Yeti one? That was just a teaser?
It was a tease for the next one. Well, here's the thing. So now you know what we're going to be doing, people. Start coming up with your ideas and let us know. Maybe we'll add them to the show next week. All right. Well, I love all these ideas. I hope our audience did. But for that, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Mickey Miles and More. If you want to reach out to us and tell us your ideas, send us a message on Twitter at Mickey Miles Pod. For Dr. Michelle Scribner-McLean, Mike Scopa, the Dean of Disney, I'm Chris Eliopoulos. We'll see you on the road and in the parks, riding on Papyrus.
We hope you enjoyed listening to today's episode of the Mickey Miles and More podcast. For all of us here at the Mickey Miles and More podcast, this is Rick Gray saying thanks for listening and all your support. And until next time, we'll see you on the road.
Rap trope.